some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker, Purple State Party. You know what we do? We represent America, the center, common sense, and things that go bang. There we go. So, I know nobody's been with me this whole time, because I can see how many people haven't been watching. But when I started this, I thought, I want to be in the middle. It's time for a new party. But I quickly realized that wasn't the plan. That wasn't what was going to work. We don't need a party in the middle. What we need to put a little blue into the red. Because the red, the Republicans, are willing to make changes. They're willing to grow with the times. They're far more progressive. They accept people from different walks of life without asking for brownie points and without having to post about it and without having to brag about it. And, their fundamental ideas of America and freedom and liberty, it's quite simple to see which side trusts you. I mean, who wants to get rid of the guns? I mean, look at it that way. Who wants to get rid of the guns? Who's scared of citizens having guns? Who wants subjects that are unarmed? The Democrats. Who wants homeless, crazy people and homeless drug addicts roaming the streets? The Democrats. Who wants to let people out of jail? Who wants to ban your gun but not prosecute gun crimes like Gascon in LA? The Democrats. Simple. We can look at this right here. California had a very large prison population. Instead of building prisons, which is the logical thing to do, they want to let people out. Now they're going to let them out early. 76,000 of them. 60,000 inmates convicted of violent crimes are going to get more time credit. So they get out earlier. People on their second strike getting out earlier. Why? Why would you want to do that? Because you want chaos on the streets. If you are a fearful government, you want the people to be beholden to you. You want them to rely on you for food, water, entertainment, all those things. They want those checks. They want those welfare checks. They want those unemployment checks, disability checks, stimulus checks. That's what they want. They want you tethered to them. And a great way to be tethered to them is to have criminals on the streets, to make it shitty for the middle class, to make it shitty for the poor, to make it shitty for even the upper middle class. Because I believe me, I'm in plenty of different demographics and income brackets in my work, and I see where the shittiness is and isn't. I see the effects of these policies, and as we'll see later on, they're hypocrites about it. But, Newsom wants to clear out the prisons. 76,000 people. They've made excuses for them to get out early. Earlier I was saying, we don't want points. We just want people. We want good ideas. People with good ideas. People who can change the paradigm and make people realize that being conservative is not being racist, not homophobic, not transphobic. It's none of those things, man. We're Americans. We're trying to give everybody the freedom to be who they are and to keep more of what they earn. Not spending it on things. Let me phrase it this way. Hey, kids, how about we mortgage your future on unproven science, hyperbole, and hype? Public Enemy. 21 Pilots said, don't believe the hype. You shouldn't believe the hype. Solar and wind. Germany tried it. It failed. They want to pump billions, if not trillions, into unproven environmental issues and social issues. No, man. What people need is jobs. They need hope. They need education. I sort of applaud the government kind of stepping in and helping out with the community colleges or state-run colleges or however you're going to do that. I'd like to see where all these wackadoodle liberal professors are going to earn their money when the government starts tightening the belt on spending because they're paying for it. But, we'll see what happens with that. But they don't want to give you hope, man. They want to give you a leash. They want to put it around your neck and make you beholden to them. Like a pet. Like a servant. Like, I dare say, even a slave. So here in California, we got to recall the idiot who wants to let all these people out of jail. One of the candidates now is Caitlyn Jenner. And she's come out against transgender girls participating in girls' sports because it isn't fair. And that's at the heart of why I find myself voting Republican. That's what attracts me to the party. I was a liberal. I was those kids that you see protesting on television when I was growing up. And I realized it was all pie in the sky and it was all lies. And it wasn't really trying to solve problems. It was trying to raise problems, raise awareness of problems, promise to solve the problems, and then not solve those problems, and then come around 2 years later and say, hey, we're here to solve those problems. There's no common sense. And Caitlyn brings up a really good point about the fact that it's not fair to the girls. Look, I understand that it's not a choice to be trans. I understand that. I get that. I understand that, whether you believe in body dysmorphia or any of the other theories, it's immaterial to me. You are what you are. Rock on, girl. You go. But you can't expect everything to be changed to accommodate you. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way for normal people. It doesn't work that way for, a blind gay guy isn't going to become a pilot of an airline just because he's gay. Well, he's gay, let's make him a pilot. But he's blind. Oh, well, we'll figure it out as we go. That's not logical. And allowing a boy or a man who is now a woman to compete against girls, it isn't fair. There's tape out there of how unfair that really is. Mixed martial arts, track and field, rugby. I mean, I've seen the pictures of the trans female rugby player, and she's massive. It's not fair, and it's common sense that that isn't going to work. As much as we want to allow people to blossom as human beings, there's things that we can't do. Not everybody's going to be happy. That's life. That's life. I loved playing the game of basketball. I played for a lot of years, but I never really got to go very far in that sport because I'm kind of short. Especially back in the high school days, man. I was the shortest person at the school. There was, the shortest girl was still taller than me. So I couldn't play basketball. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah, it kind of hurts. But there's a certain amount of reality, pragmatism that you have to look at and realize not everybody could do everything. And again, Tim Scott here brings up the fact that we're not a racist country. And people may, you could scream and yell all you want, but we're not. That's not our ideals. That's not what we're holding up as the bar. We don't hold up that racism is okay, that we're cool with it. And they lambaste this guy, man. They were calling him Uncle Tim to the point where Twitter almost stepped in. And you know how much Twitter hates to censor people. Yeah. How much Twitter hates to censor Democrats and liberals and the woke crowd. Oh, but they're calling him Uncle Tim. Meanwhile, they've got 2 senators that are black. 2. Republicans 1, Democrats 2. Okay? Statistically, who cares? You both have not enough black senators, I would say. But then again, it's based on qualifications in my book, so maybe they're not qualified. I don't know. I don't know why the numbers are there. But this guy tries to stand up for common sense, America, and the middle. We're not racist, man. If Derek Chauvin had been thrown away around the N-word, nobody would have even been discussing whether he was innocent or guilty. We don't tolerate that kind of shit here. I know I don't. I've seen it personally out in the real world. I've almost gotten punched in the face standing up against it, saying that ain't cool, man. And then this fucktard A guy I used to really like, Jimmy Kimmel, blast him, for being the only black GOP senator, and his side only has 2. That's how out of touch these people are. These blue checkmark type people who you're listening to, they're out of touch. They don't even know. They make the joke, they make the woke comment to make themselves seem cool and relevant, but they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. Oh, thank you, Tim. In case you didn't get it the first time around, we're not a racist country. We have at least one of everybody from the planet here, man. From the farthest reaches of our planet, people come to America and are given the opportunity to succeed. And I'm willing to bet that we have one of everybody who has succeeded here. I was reading about one of the richest men in Africa, a billionaire. He came here, he worked a job as a taxi driver, put himself through business school, and went back to Africa and made billions. Okay? Billions. A racist country does not allow black people to become billionaires. You little 20-year-olds and stuff out there, man, who think you know what you're talking about, why don't you look at some history books? Why don't you look at how the world used to treat black people, how America used to treat black people, before you start running your gums and flapping your lips about, Jim Crow law is systemically racist and all of this. It's bullshit. If it's rooted out here, it's exposed. People are suspended. They lose their jobs. They go to jail. Those are the facts, okay? And I'm not saying everything's roses. I'm not saying there aren't racists. I'm saying that America is not. I'm not. And I know a lot of people who would enjoy watching my show. They're not. Look at this one. Texas Democrat facing calls to resign after calling Tim Scott an Oreo. I know I call Kamala Harris a token because she's being used that way as a token. I've never thought of Tim Scott as that. He's just a guy who got elected. He had the qualifications and people elected him. He's not from my state, so I don't know very much about him. I don't know how it goes. I recently learned of the guy from West Virginia Mansion. I don't follow other state senators and governors and stuff like that. I look into it when they pop up. But I've seen a lot of what this guy has said, and I have to agree with it. I think he's there because he's qualified, because he's got a good head on his shoulder. And I would support him for president. Because he has the balls to stand up and say it. And then look at the shit that he gets from a Texas Democrat. See, a Democrat. The people who are pushing a woke agenda, pushing critical race theory, pushing the whatever bullshit 1817 or whatever the hell that fucking stupid project is. Running around talking about we're woke, we're progressive. But then one of their own calls him an Oreo. That's not cool. I mean, if you can't figure out what the reference is, then you're too stupid to watch the show, and I'm not going to fucking explain it to you. But I'll tell you this, man. That's not something you say. That's not something you say. I can say it about myself. I can say I'm a reverse coconut. Because, I'm white on the outside, and inside I love salsa music and Mexican food and Mexican people, and I love soccer. I love the whole Latin culture, so sometimes I refer to myself as a reverse coconut. That's okay, because I'm saying it about myself. I'm saying it in a positive manner. That's not, man. You don't tell a black man that he's white on the inside, man. It's not cool. I learned that lesson a long time ago, man, and I don't understand how somebody who is in our government, in any fashion, would think that that was okay. So cancel his ass, apparently. Again, the common sense, the trying to educate yourself. Hey, look, I know I've been wrong. I know I've passed on some bad information. I try my best to do research, okay? I try my best, Some things I have to take at face value. I'm taking this at face value because somebody quoted this. Bill Maher supposedly said this. So, I'm hoping that he checked it. But what are the chances that someone who gets COVID will need to be hospitalized? The answer is between 1 and 5%. 41% of Democrats thought it was over 50%. I don't know what the Republicans thought. I'm sure we could argue the fact that this is somewhat of a one-sided comment, but 41% of them didn't even realize the truth. Why didn't we review the truth? COVID coverage by the U.S. national media is an outlier, a study found. 87% of our news was negative. It was designed to keep us scared in our houses and beholden to the government. We were led to believe something that wasn't true. I mean, lots of people did die with it. I don't know if that means for it, from it. I don't know, man. But, at some point, the lid's going to come off and the pot's going to boil over. And people are going to see what the true numbers are. They're going to see how we were hornswoggled on this whole thing. That they used this to push for mail-in ballots, at a mass mail-in ballots that, in my opinion, were fraudulent. And in case you're wondering, when you go by electoral college, which we do here, Trump only lost by 44,000 votes. So, that's less than 50,000 fraudulent ballots that you would need. 1.2 million dead people received stimulus checks. How many of them voted? I don't know. It's suspect. But again, let's look at what the Democrats do. They want those mail-in ballots. They want a suspect election process. Why? Why are you taking that side? Because again, you just want power. You want to take it over and tell us to fuck off and pay our taxes. That's what you want. You've got designs. These wind projects and these solar projects, they're all going to insiders, man. They're going to be employing people's families and friends and getting kickbacks along the way. We know it's a corrupt government, and that's why they want so much money for it. The more money you have, the easier it is to hide chunks of it. We're talking about electric, and right here they're talking about in 3 hours you could fill up a Ford Mustang and drive for about 300 miles. It takes 1 hour to get 3 miles on an electric vehicle coming off a household current. You need to bump it up to a dangerous degree. And in a lot of states, like California, where are we going to get this electricity? It's called nuclear power, folks. If we're going to go electric, we're going to need nuclear power facilities. Bottom line, electricity is not going to appear magically. We're not going to start ocean turbines because the environmentalists are against that. We're going to try to stick with wind and solar. And Germany already proved that doesn't work, while France proved that nuclear power works. So you tell me, do you want to spend large portions of your paycheck on just your electric bill? I don't know. I don't. But these electric vehicles are facing a problem right now. Already, 1 out of 5 electric vehicle owners are switching back to gas. Doesn't sound like a lot, right? But you're not gaining ground. You're not going to gain enough ground for them to invest in it. So the Biden administration is going to blow a whole bunch of money on fucking technology we don't need. We have pressing needs right now. We need to fix our border. We need to fix the world. We need to fix our education systems. We need to fix our actual infrastructure. That's what we need to do. We need to get the homeless off the streets. We need more prisons. We need to lock people up with serious time. No more of this stuff, this 6 months for assault with a firearm. No. Throw them in jail for 5 years. Then maybe you could talk to me about what guns I can own. White guy, black guy. Both saving people from a flood. Notice the difference? Me neither. That's my point. I don't give a shit what color you are. You're either a hero or a villain. That's it. Doesn't matter. They come in all shapes and sizes and all colors and all belief systems. Jim, back in the top 10 here. Lives matter. If you need a color in front of those words, you're a racist. I couldn't agree more there, Jim, from The Office. Say hi to Pam. Enough of this shit, okay? Yes, we need to end violence against Asians. Yes, Black Lives Matter. everybody's life matters. Sacrificing one group for the benefit of another group is racism. That's just what it is. When you put transgender females into girls' sports, the girls are the ones who are going to get punished. The assigned at birth girls. Or the whatever. It is what it is, man. I have no problem with people. I just have a problem with bending over backwards to the point of stupidity. And that's what we've done with things like Black Lives Matter. They blew their money on mansions, dude. It's a scam. All their money is going to Democratic politicians. Okay? BLM is nothing more than a Democrats candidate's fundraiser. Look up where most of their money went. It went to senators and presidents. It went to people like Bernie Sanders, and it went to Joe Biden, and all the other knuckleheads that were running for the position last year. Here's another female black conservative for you, And what's her big concern? Biden celebrating his first 100 days. As of Tuesday, Baltimore had 96 homicides. 96. And this is current, just so you know. 129 shootings since January 1st. And as of January 1st, Baltimore has had 12 COVID-related deaths. And they're more worried about COVID. They're more worried about passing what I call legal gun regulations. They're not doing anything with the criminals. These guys, the cost of business, man, if you get to live the life of a drug dealer and then you have to pay with 3 years of your life, but you're going to get like 30 good years. Price of doing business. Nobody's getting serious about this shit, man. Lock these people up, throw away the keys. It might scare a few people. Talking about, they want to say that allowing people to just live on the streets is compassionate, which is complete and utter crap. It's leaving them to die on the streets is what it is. It's sweeping it under the... And why? They have money raised to do things about it, but yet it seems like it costs, $500,000 to $1 million to build one unit for homeless people because of all the kickbacks, of all the permits, all the regulations here in California. Everybody getting their little taste. And when the Oscars, the Oscars came to town, they literally did move all the homeless away from that area. That's how fucking shady they are. Instead of actually fixing the problem, they sweep it under the rug and then keep making campaign promises and raising more money for the homeless. And we're going to save the homeless. We're going to fix the homeless problem. And the money's still sitting in the bank because that they've worked out how to get kickbacks off that interest. So they're lying about their intentions towards fixing it. Biden's restricting travel to India. Where's everybody calling him a racist? Because Trump was called a racist when he shut down travel to China, where the damn COVID was coming from. You see, the Republicans did something that made sense and were called a racist. The Democrats do something that made sense. And for the most part, people say, well, that makes sense. India's having a giant outbreak. We don't need more of it coming here. We certainly don't need any variants. We don't need a Mumbai strain or something coming here. Hyperbad. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that. I'm trying. I have respect for the country, but yeah, they need to be shut out right now. It's exploding over there. These are two events here on the screen. The Twin Towers in Pearl Harbor. Biden calls January 6th the worst attack on democracy since the Civil War. I got news for you, Joe. You're the worst attack on democracy ever. Period. You and your filthy party are worse than the damn British. You are. Taxation without representation. Punitive taxing. Lying about it. Trying to convince people that it's okay to tax the rich because they're not going to pass the cost on to you. They're worse than Britain was. King George, man. Hey, man, if we got a Lexington and Concord, we got a Lexington and Concord. I don't know what else to say, man. That's the way it's looking right now. if things don't change in the next cycle, yeah, we could save 20 to 40% or more on everything by switching back to Trump. Geico Gecko right there, man. The little Trump wig. That's some excellent photoshopping, boys. That's great, B. That is great. And it's true. Gas in my area was like $2.98 when Trump left. It's now $3.88. Costs are going up because there's more regulations. Now there's talk of making truckers employees, even though the truckers own their own trucks. I mean, when you start when you force companies to pay the truckers more, then they're going to have to raise the delivery fees, and it's going to raise the cost of goods, just like gas taxes do. It's going to hit us. It's ridiculous what we pay for things compared to the rest of the world. Here's one that was a little bit untruthful. The State of the Union ratings, and Biden had more than 11.6 million because there are streaming services and there are things that aren't counted by Nielsen. 11 million Nielsen families or whatever said they watched it, but the number they're estimating is 24 million, and that is not impressive at all. And everything that he said in there was a lie. You guys hated the last president for lying. Oh, Trump's lying. Biden's lying about everything. He didn't inherit the worst economy. He's using Trump's plans to pull troops out of Afghanistan. He's using Trump's plans for vaccination and the rollout of the vaccinations. And what's he doing about the border? He appointed Kamala Harris, that brainless turd, to be in charge of the border. She hasn't gone down there. She wants to get input from the countries that are causing the migration. She wants to know what these benevolent leaders of these countries down in Central America think about, what they can do. They're the ones who are down there, the socialist countries down in South America. They're the ones who are causing the problem where everybody's having to flee their country and come to ours. Okay? The leaders are the potatoes of the Irish famine. That's what they are. They're the reason that people are leaving, and we want their input. That's how stupid that side has become. And that their unmatched stupidity is the CDC. The CDC now recommends wearing a seatbelt even when outside the car. The B, putting just a perfect head right on that nail, man. We've seen Biden up there. Vaccinated, wearing a mask, worrying about where his mask is. People wearing masks and socially distancing at the so-called State of the Union. Make up your minds, folks. Which is it? Do masks work? Do masks don't? A lot of studies saying they don't. I don't know, man. We have nobody we can trust. And that goes for both sides, man. I can't trust Fox News. Come on, are you kidding me? Honesty is the only thing that will ever save this country. Only in America can kids with $150 shoes, $8 coffees, and $1,000 iPhones complain about being oppressed by capitalism in society. And that's what they're counting on. The Democrats live on fear. And they put wild stories into these kids' brains about who's oppressed and, the world's going to end and only we can save it. And they're not. They're not coming up with any real solutions. They're coming up with platitudes that sound good and apparently get votes. They managed to convince the people of LA that Gascon was better than Lacey, even though they have virtually the same record, except that Lacey wasn't looking for excuses to let criminals out of jail. But they managed, that's progressive. That's progressive. We're a bad country for keeping people in jail. And they got all the little dumbwads to believe it. And that's a true statement right there, man. If you're walking around, dumb, man. The only thing dumber than some kid with an iPhone complaining about being oppressed is the people who walk around with an iPhone worrying about a microchip in the vaccine. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's the problem we have here. We don't have honesty. We don't have it from the media, and it's getting harder and harder to tell what is the truth anymore because of that fact. But I know one thing, because I said at the beginning of the show, it's very easy to look at somebody's platform and know what they think about you. The Democrats want chaos on the streets. They want you beholden to the government for money. They want to pay for everything, right? They want your guns. They're not coming for the guns right now, but they're chipping away at it. Whereas the Republicans, I mean, think about what that says. Think about what that says. The Democrats want to limit, like, your magazine capacity on a gun. You could only have 10 rounds, right? I mean, motherfucker, I'll tell you right now, I'll fight you with a musket. I'll fight you with a musket. Meanwhile, the Republicans are like, here's an AK-47 with 30 rounds in it. Because they ain't fucking afraid. The Republicans are not trying to push things to the point of civil war. The Democrats are. And you can say whatever you want, but there's nothing that will convince me of that you are right. Because it's right there. Who wants you to have military-grade hardware and who doesn't? Because that tells you who's scared. Who wants you to work for a living? Who wants to put you on a little leash and just walk you around like a little puppy dog? Huh? Who wants chaos on the streets and who wants safe streets? Chaos on the streets benefits the government, not the citizens. Safe streets benefit the citizens. The Republicans want to do the job that they were elected to do, and they know they can be held accountable. The Democrats think they're above the law, and they want to run stuff, tell you what to do, and meanwhile, they're making themselves rich. Copious out.